Do you feel like a hot mess? Are you constantly fatigued, exhausted, burned out? Yeah, that's how it is for most highly sensitive persons, most empaths I know. That's because we continuously experience barrages, tidal waves of energy and emotion in our awareness. This energy and emotion hits us most of the time like we're drinking from a fire hose that's wide open, making it hard for us to breathe, experience peace and calm, to be happy, grounded in the moment. In this spiritual lesson, I'm going to share with you how Stoic Mediumship Training, learning the language of spirit, helps you turn the volume down on the fire hose of emotion and energy that runs your life. Hi, I'm T.S. Hall, the Stoic Medium. I teach old souls, empaths, and highly sensitive persons the language of spirit. We do this by teaching you to master the psychic and healing arts as a verifiable, displayable skill set you can access on command when you need them most. If you're new here, welcome. We're glad you found us, yet not at all surprised. Please consider subscribing to our channel so you never miss one of our spiritual lessons we put out each Sunday morning, along with hosting 2 live interactive spiritualist church services via Zoom. During these services, we exhibit and display our understanding of the language of spirit to see if that language is something you want to learn as the next steps along your spiritual growth pathway this lifetime. Again, welcome. Before I began my spiritual journey, my journey to expand my spiritual awareness, I lived life as a chameleon. I tried to hide in plain sight, to never be noticed, but at the same time craving, begging, wanting to be noticed, yet at the same time afraid that I would be. You see, I've always been empathic. I've always been a highly sensitive male. And during these times, I understood more about other people than they understood about themselves. The problem was I understood nothing about me and how to use and develop my skills for my highest and best good to support me in what I wanted to accomplish by incarnating this lifetime. That was in 1987. I heard the word clairvoyant and I had to figure out what that meant because it rang true through every cell in my body. I began my spiritual journey, my quest for spiritual awareness. I learned a very simple, straightforward, direct, verifiable system, which for the past 30 years I've evolved into a simple process I call Stoic Mediumship Training. It's based in spiritualism, but all the teachings of all the masters in the world, because we only use what works, but not what I say works, what you directly experience as working in your lifetime by developing displayable, verifiable, psychic and healing abilities. My spiritual journey, my quest for spiritual awareness, my learning to become fluent in the language of spirit has been a roller coaster. I've had so much to unlearn, so much to relearn, so much to recontextualize. And it wasn't until 2004 that I realized the progress that I had made. You see, that's when I met Amy. We became married and created, manifest, and materialized a working relationship, a relationship that works for us. And specifically for me, as an empath and highly sensitive person, I created a relationship where I didn't have to hide. It took me a long time to trust and believe I didn't have to. But I don't have to hide anymore. I can be me. And I'm loved exactly as the way I am and exactly as the way I'm not. We still have some work to do, but that's life, isn't it? But why did I share with you about my relationship? Not to brag. To brag a little bit. But more because the loneliest place I've found for most empaths most highly sensitive people is inside the romantic relationships, because they haven't learned how to separate, how to differentiate, how to discern my stuff, their stuff, and our stuff. And when you can't differentiate, if you can't discern what is yours, what is theirs, and what is yours together in the relationship, then that's the fire hose. That's the tidal wave of energy and emotions, because you don't know what to believe. You don't know what to trust. You don't know how to cope with the life being life. Stoic Mediumship Training allows you to begin to train your mind. And remember, your mind is like an untrained 2.5-year-old person who just runs around all the time and asking why and saying no. And I don't want to when you ask it to do something. Your mind is a trickster. But the fortunate thing is, just like a child grows out of the 2s and the 3s, you can train the trickster to be your humble servant, to do your bidding, what you want it to do. And that's the Stoic Mediumship Training process. It's quite simple. Too simple for most. Because like most things in life, it's your 3-dimensional reality results that you produce that allow you to know you're being successful. As I mentioned earlier, I knew I was making headway, I was making ground, when I attracted a lovely person who loved me just the way I was and just the way I wasn't. Still does. That was a manifest 3-dimensional expression, a result, an outcome, if you will, that showed that I was making progress. Your Stoic Mediumship Training begins with one tool. You probably already have it in your home. If you don't, it's really cheap to get. And that's a deck of playing cards. In that deck of playing cards, I remove the face cards because I use it for multiple purposes, and the face cards only serve to confuse. But you've got 40 cards. And as you begin to train yourself to recognize the language of spirit, and remember, the language of spirit is not constrained by the physical senses of your body. They transcend the distractions of your outward senses, the delusions of your outward senses, to see things as they really are. And what we're going to train them is, what is that next card? 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 And as you do, you're going to understand just how much your brain guesses, how busy your brain is. Because remember, your 3-dimensional brain is part of that animal body. Your mind, which exists after you live in your spirit body, speaks the language of spirit. And you have to train your physical brain to comprehend this new set of information, which is the language of spirit, the language of energy. Your brain talks on the language of emotion. Our Stoic Mediumship Training allows you to calm the emotions so you can understand the language of energy, the language of spirit, the language of love, if you will. And it's a simple process, immediately verifiable and displayable in the fact that when you're right, and when you're wrong, something else happened. I will share with you this one story about the gentleman who trained me. There's another type of cards called ESP cards. They were from Duke University, and there are 25 of them. And as I met him later in his life, and he was saying that when he went through the deck, he would get 24 out of 25 right. And his great koan, his great mystery was, why did he miss that one? What was going on with his mind? As you begin Stoic Mediumship Training, the important thing to remember is, why did you get that one? Was it you're guessing, or was it actually intuitive knowing? They feel different. And then all of a sudden you're going through your cards and you pick up a card and you know that you know exactly what that card is, and when you turn it over, you're not surprised. That's the feeling. That's the moment that you begin to have an experience that remaps the reality of your mind and the experience of your three-dimensional life. That's Stoic mediumship. That's the language of spirit. As you begin to master this skill, allow yourself to understand and know it is simply that simple. Period. Once your mind begins to communicate directly with your physical body, interesting things begin to happen. When someone comes home and they're in a bad mood, you know that it is or isn't about you. When someone withholds the truth, and you know that they're withholding the truth, you can see whether or not it's about them or about you. When you're upset, when you have a craving for food, when you're feeling depressed, burned out, exhausted, fatigued, you can begin to see where you're being dishonest with yourself, where you haven't addressed or dealt with something in your life that needs to be dealt with. It takes a while to allow yourself to be informed by spirit. But as you become more and more informed by spirit, you become less and less distracted by the delusions of the real world, of your physical senses' perception of the real world. Is what I described easy? Not at all. You have to unbundle your beliefs. You have to be willing to allow yourself to do the work. Is it simple? Absolutely. And through this simplicity, the beautiful result that you create is you become master of your vessel. You allow yourself to begin to take control of your life, to create the results you want to create on command when you want them most. I now have a choice about when to be a chameleon and when I don't have to be. It takes so much less energy not trying to be a chameleon all the time. If you like my chameleon analogy, let me know if you relate to it. If you have another analogy that describes better how you cope with all of this empathic information, all of this hypersensitivity, this tidal wave of energy and emotions, describe it in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you describe how you've survived life so long, how you've managed your fatigue and your burnout. Does this simple spiritual lesson ring true? Does it feel right? If so, consider joining us for one of our online Spiritualist Church services via Zoom. You will get a direct experience of how we use the language of spirit in our lives. You'll get a direct demonstration of Stoic mediumship and how we use that to help us know our next step, so we always take the proper action and are never surprised. Well, not too often. We're still learning after all. We host these services at 7:30 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. Pacific time on Sundays. To see for yourself, visit spirit360.org. Click the Get Your Invite button, fill out the little form, and we will email you instructions how to join us. If that feels right, then possibly spiritualism, as we teach it at Spirit 360 Fellowship, may be the right choice for the next steps along your spiritual journey this lifetime. I look forward to connecting with you during one of our online Zoom services. It's always wonderful to connect with other empaths, old souls, and highly sensitive persons who are ready to start taking control of their lives by first learning to control their mind. If you like what we've shared, give us a thumbs up. Share this with other empaths and highly sensitive persons that you know may benefit from turning down the volume on that fire hose of life. Share this with them. Again, take the opportunity to subscribe to our channel so you never miss one of our spiritual lessons we publish every Sunday. And I will finish with this one simple reminder that spiritual is as spiritual does.